It is finals footy time, which means that I'm going to be going through every single club in the finals and saying some strengths and weaknesses and stuff and how I think they're going to go in the finals, as well as predicting it through the finals bracket, which I'll do at the end of the video. So make sure you stick around for that. But let's just get underway straight away. We'll start from 8th going up to 1st, the Raiders. So look, for me, honestly, I think they are a bit of a placeholder in the finals. But hey, like you never know. And with their strength that I have got down is experience, and that could get them through to week 2 of the finals at least anyway. Like, you got guys like, Jack Whiten, Joey Tarpanay, Jared Kroger, these blokes that have been around for like a fair while and got some experience in the finals as well. And it, especially this week against the Knights, could give them a bit of a chance because it's an inexperienced team. But I just think like their weakness for me is just their form. They haven't been great all year. They got the 3rd or 4th worst for and against in the whole competition. How are you going to win a comp when you got like going to the finals with like for and against in the like negative, like triple digits? It's just disgusting. So yeah, for me, look, the Raiders, I don't see them doing much in the finals, but hey, you never know, hey? Finals footy especially, weird thing. Now, onto the Roosters. For me, their strength is just their star power. You got guys, Victor Radley, Brandon Smith, James Tedesco, Joey Manu, Joseph Swaliti, Sam Walker as well, Luke Keary. These guys that can just put on a show no matter what. It doesn't matter what time of the year, what game. And they've just got so much experience in these big games too. You just dead set can never write them off. The fact they've got themselves in the finals there means they can win the comp. They're that kind of team. They got on a bit of a run, but my weakness is I think they have left this run too late. Like, yes, you want to be timing your run well, and there's you can go too early or too late. I think they just needed a couple more weeks of playing some really good footy, and I'd be really, really scared about them. But I just think they haven't played enough good footy together. When they get to like those really good teams, they're just going to struggle. Moving on now to the Cronulla Sharks. Their strength for me, it's funny. I don't know if I rate this Sharks team. There's just something missing from them. The strength I have, though, is they have Nico Hines. He can just turn it on no matter what. He's that kind of guy that, he won the Dally M last year. He's one of the best players in the comp. Hands down, no doubt about that, rather. I think he's a class player. And look, this year, he's been a bit down on confidence. He's had his critics and whatnot. And I think this is his chance to show the world that he is a bloody good player and one of the top players in the comp, and he can take the comp by the scruff of the neck. My weakness for them is just their form against the top 8. Like, they haven't been fantastic against. I think they've won one game against the top 8 team this year and no games against the top 4 in the last 2 years. So how on earth are you going to win a comp if you can't beat the top teams? There's something. I think Nico just needs some help there. I feel like that's probably the way that I go for the Sharkies. I don't know what the real issue is there, but I just don't really see them packing the power or the punch that they need to win a comp. They might get out of the first week of finals if they're lucky, but I don't see them doing much from that. And moving on to the boys, the Nova Casherans, the boys from Newey. Jesus, they've been playing good footy over the last couple of months. The strength for me, obviously, is their form. They've got on a run of 9 in a row wins into the finals, which is just crazy. And I think the crowd will definitely help them. Like, they got a home semi, at least for the first week of the finals. That will absolutely help them. And look, everyone's peaking. It reminds me kind of the Cowboys last year. And like, don't get that twisted. They obviously play a different style of football and whatnot. But I think like last year, everyone from the Cowboys was just on song. Everyone was having career best years. And I think that's happening at the Knights this year. Like, Kalen Ponga, he was fantastic in 2018, but he has blown every single stat out of the water this year. He's been ridiculously good. And with him on their side playing this kind of footy, you can't write him out against anyone. But my weakness for them is I think their forward pack might run into some trouble against the really, really good teams. Like, and this is no disrespect to Leo Thompson, but like, he's been playing really good footy. But if you got Leo Thompson, against a guy like James Fisher-Harris or Payne Haas or Adam Fanua-Blake, I know who I'm taking. And unfortunately for those three, it's not Leo Thompson. And then their bench, like Jack Hetherington and stuff, good for an error, good for a penalty. The like really relieving penalty, getting the other side out of trouble. A couple other tweaks I make to that squad before I think they're really, really premiership contenders. But geez, get around Newey. They're playing bloody good footy. Now, the other team that has a million bandwagons at the moment, the Warriors, their strength, their attitude, they just turn up for each other. Their whole club mantra and everything has changed. And I think it's they're playing the kind of footy that wins your comps. And again, like Newey, the crowd, like a game in New Zealand, good luck to anyone trying to beat them there. If they get a prelim in New Zealand, I think they get to the grand final. But the couple things for the Warriors, weaknesses, inexperience in finals. They've got, Sean Johnson, Chance, Tohu Harris. And that's probably about it that have played in the finals and played good footy in the finals too. And the other thing, their form hasn't been great over the last month. They're sort of been patched. Like they could have got second, but they're in fourth. Could have got patched up by the fact that they're just hot and everyone loves them. But if this another team, if this was the Broncos that are now in fourth, we're probably talking about it a little bit differently. But look, I still think the Warriors, this is a phenomenal season. They came second last year, and now look at them. Now, the Melbourne Storm, their strength is sort of similar to the Roosters, like their star power. They've got guys, Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes, Ron Pappenhausen's back, Harry Grant especially as well, Nelson Solomona, guys can make something out of nothing and really flip a game on its head. And as well, Craig Bellamy. He is one of the best coaches we've ever seen, and just understands footy to a different depth that most people do, and will be able to tactically dominate teams, I think, and it could definitely play. I mean, obviously it will play in the Storm's favour, but I think the Storm are definitely not a team that you can count out in the finals, especially with guys like the guys I just mentioned. And they've somehow weaseled their way into the top four. I don't feel like they've actually been that good this year, and that's my weakness for them. I don't know if their footy has been premiership like winning standard. They're probably one of the two teams that I see can actually beat Penrith, but there's just something missing from this side. I don't know. When I watch them, there's something off. But going on to the other team that I think can really give Penrith a run for their money, and that is the Broncos. Their strength is probably comes with their unpredictability and the X factor throughout their side. They've got you guys like Reece Walsh, Selwyn Cobbo, Herbie Farnworth, Katoni Staggs, pretty much the whole back line. Like outside backs anyway. Ezra Mam. Adam Reynolds should be back as well this week. I actually should know if he's been named or not. I haven't actually checked. My bad. But then then moving to the front row, Payne Haas, ridiculous. Guys like Jordan Ricky can make something out of nothing. But you got your toilers too, like Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan, and I think they're really, really, really good side. But my worry is they are new to the finals. They haven't played finals footy together. And when the going gets tough, I don't know if they're going to be able to step up, because whether they're going to trust those guys around them or not. What I see happening, and what it reminds me of, is 2020 when the Panthers took on the Storm. Panthers probably best team in the comp that year. Did they win the minor premiership? You're testing my knowledge. Someone leave it in the comments below. But it was like the old dogs versus the new boys, and the old dogs, the experience and stuff, came through. And one of the old sayings is with the grand finals, you got to lose one to win one. I think that's definitely the case with Penrith, and it might be the case with the Broncos. I don't know if they're winning the comp this year, but next year, look out, and the year after as well, especially because Penrith, that team's so good, they're starting to get pinched from like other areas and stuff, which we've already seen with a few of their stars. But yeah, Broncos, that's my one worry. It's just they haven't played that much finals footy as a squad. They haven't played finals footy as a squad, so we'll see how that goes. And then finally onto Penrith, their strength is they're the best team in the comp. They've won the last two in a row. They know what they're doing, and that's the difference between them and the Broncos. When the going gets tough, they back themselves. They know how to get out of their situations, and they'll be absolutely fine. And then my weakness is, it's funny, I don't really think there is a weakness there, but it's just the depth in the roster is not as good as it previously has been. That's the only thing that I can see there. Like, if they get another injury, they are in trouble, especially with Jerome Luai. Oh, he'll probably be back for the finals. That's towards the prelim, but that is my only things really that I can see going wrong there. But let me know what you think about all those things, what the strengths and your weaknesses for your club if they're in the finals, and how you really see it all shaping up. So now we've gone through the strengths and weaknesses for these clubs. Let's go on to my finals bracket. We'll pull it up here and make sure it's on screen. But so for the first week, we've got Panthers taking on the Warriors at Penrith, then Newcastle in a sold-out stadium again against the Raiders at Newey, Sharks versus the Roosters, and then Broncos taking on the Storm for 2 weeks in a row. So first off, I think Panthers versus Warriors in Penrith. I think Penrith win that one, so they go straight to a prelim, which means the Warriors will go to the minor semi the next week. And look, I've already spoken about this. I think the Raiders are a placeholder. Knights should win that game, making it 10 in a row, which is just stupid stuff. Going into the semi that week against the Warriors. Sharks versus Roosters is a very, very interesting one. Sharkies at home, which would certainly help. But the Roosters are playing. Been playing some decent footy. I think that'll reflect through, and their experience in the finals will get him to week 2. The Sharks being knocked out. And the Broncos versus Storm. Broncos at Suncorp. Usually that's an absolute omen that they're going to win, but the Storm have had their number for a fair while now. I'm gonna back the Broncos. I think they get through to the prelim. Very, very tough. They got to overcome such a good Storm side, and the Storm side that'll be that's the thing about last week with the Storm winning is all those guys pushing for a spot have got their tails up, and like it's a healthy competition for spots at the moment, and it's really going to spur everyone on. But yeah, I do see the Broncos beating the Storm there, going through to the prelim, which then means the week after we have the Warriors versus the Knights, the battle of the bandwagons over in New Zealand. I can only see one team winning that there in New Zealand, and that is the Warriors. So I've got them going to a prelim against the Broncos in Brisbane. That'll be such a sick game. And then we've got the Storm versus the Roosters, which is massive as well. And I'll take the Storm there to get to a prelim versus the Panthers. So we'll talk about that now. Penrith versus the Storm, a replay of the 2020 Grand Final. I think, again, Penrith, I don't know if this will be played in Penrith if they get to a prelim. It should be, but just, I don't know, it's a bit stupid sometimes. So Penrith versus the Storm in like Penrith, Sydney, wherever. I'm going to say that Penrith get to their fourth grand final in a row. And then it'll be the the Broncos taking on the Warriors in Brisbane. It'll be tough for the Warriors to beat them there. Brisbane, get through the grand final. I think it'll be probably the best grand final possible because they've been the two best teams throughout the season, Penrith versus Broncos. And Penrith will probably three-peat. That's my prediction. I think it's everyone's prediction who knows a little bit about footy. But again, as I said before, finals footy is a different breed, different beast of footy. And look, fuck it, the Raiders might end up making the grand final. We'll see. But I highly doubt that'll happen. But it's just the kind of thing like, yeah, you got to be in it to win it. And I think that's an attitude that teams like the Raiders, Sharks, and Roosters will be employing. But yeah, who do you think will win the comp this season? What does your finals bracket look like? Is it the same as mine? Is it different? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more footy content.